Hello everyone. My name is Alice, and I'm the colleague of Lisa. I'm not based in Malaysia. That's bad. I really want to be there, but actually, I'm based in Hanoi, Vietnam. So I have been working with Yes Education for a very long time, and always happy to work with Yes Education, and especially even happier today that Yes Education hold this section for Massey University colleague. As you guys know, that me and Lisa, we work for Kaplan ANZ. We are the, let's say, the partner of Mass University, that we are the only partner that provide the pathway programs, which I believe that after today's section, you guys gonna have a lot of details and might find the best program to consult to your student. Please feel free to reach out to us, including Yes team, for any question you might have. For no longer ado, I would like to start. I know that Australia is very familiar with everyone, but New Zealand might be not as familiar as Australia, but we are smaller, but we have a lot of like thing that we proud of. For anyone here, I wonder if anyone have been to New Zealand, or if you are not yet, please take a short trip to New Zealand with me today. So if you can see in the screen now, it's a map of New Zealand. So New Zealand have so many islands, but the two biggest one is the North Islands and the South Island. And I don't know if anyone know how many university we have in New Zealand. If you compare to Australia, we only have 8 university, and Mass University is one of them. However, all 8 university, it belong to the top 2% of the best university in the world. And later on, I will show you the detailed ranking about Massey, and I think that is quite impressive. If you see the yellow dot in the screen, you can see that four, let's say four. So three that located in the North Island. It is where the Massey University campus are based in New Zealand. We all based in the North. And there's a fun fact about the North Island because we all coming from Asia, right? So we are not really get used to the very cold weather. So that's a good news for you and for the student who want to study at Massey, because the more north you are, actually the more tropical, similar weather you are in. So if you are in the north, you will not experience like heavy snows or snowstorm. But if you are in the south during the winter, it might get like extremely cold. But in the north, maybe you won't just see the cold weather and maybe some very strong wind. That's the maximum that you can see. You don't need to be worried about the snow and everything, which I really love. And one thing that I want to emphasize as well, because today that we want to introduce to you about Massey University College. So every programs in Massey University College will be delivery in Auckland campus, which very convenient. I hope that please let me or Lisa know if you have a chance to travel to New Zealand and you have free time, want to drop by to take a campus tour with us. We're happy to assist you with that. So to be more in detail, we actually have 3 campus for Mass University, right? But for Mass University College, normally we call it short like MUC. We only delivery in Auckland. So you know that Auckland is a city that have the most people in New Zealand live in. So the population in New Zealand now is, I think, around 5 million. And in Auckland, already 1.5 million live in Auckland. So you see all the opportunities, the jobs, and everything is already in Auckland, right? We already can see it. And especially that, if you know like about some other university in New Zealand that also located in Auckland, we have something that more advanced in terms of locations and facility, because we are not inside the CBD. That's why our student can enjoy the spacious facility. If you stay in the CBD, actually it's just a building, but we are the like 100% the campus. You have the gym, the swimming pool, you have the lab rooms, you have everything in your hand if you study at Mass University in Auckland. Another thing that I would like to show you, I try to find the photo, but I cannot find. But actually, our Auckland campus is only like 3 steps away from the biggest shopping mall in Auckland. So it means that you just like cross the road and you can reach to the biggest shopping mall. I think that the student, even the consultant, I think they're very happy about this news. And if you walk a little bit further, around like 10 minutes away, you will reach the terminal bus stations. So it means that you don't need to worry about your commute to the CBD, or if the student want to do part-time jobs everywhere else in the city, it's very convenient for them to travel. So that's the reason that I want to emphasize as well. About the campus focus, so each campus, they have their own focus. So for example, in Auckland, we have like business, construction, food tech, information science, and of course our MUC as well. The second campus, I will not be surprised if anyone is your first time you hear about Palmerston North. I think that people, when they know about New Zealand, they only know about Auckland or maybe Wellington, because one is the biggest city and the second one is the capital. But Palmerston North is like a very peaceful city, 6-hour drive from Auckland and 2-hour drive from Wellington. It's also the Massey University, the first campus as well. In this campus, we have a vet. If you want to become an animal doctor, you will study here. If you want to become a pilot, you also study in Palmerston North as well. And the good thing for international students here is that once you become Massey University student and you study in Palmerston North, you will get free public transportation in Palmy. So I think that is also another thing to highlight. The third campus of Massey University will be located in Wellington, the capital. I have been visited Wellington. Actually, for me, because I'm not really like extrovert type person, so I really prefer to stay either in Palmerston North or Wellington, because you still have everything in your hand, very convenient. Food, shopping, educations, the scenery, the natural, but it's not that crowded. But be careful, you might be blown away in Wellington because the wind is very strong. I think it's the windiest city in the world. It's famous for that. And in Wellington, Massey University will deliver all the programs related to art, like design, creativities. They will be delivered in Massey University, Wellington campus. So that is for the 3 campus. The next one I would like to tell you, oh, sorry. The next one I would like to tell you a little bit is about why people start choosing New Zealand instead of other countries. Actually, you know that in the past, so many international students choose New Zealand already, but I think lately it even increased like more and more. The first thing that I can say is that for parents, they choose New Zealand because they know that it's very safe, and it's always been the, I think, the first or the second safest country in the world. I think this year we lose to New Zealand, losses to Finland, but for the last like 3 or 4 years, it's always New Zealand is the first country that always ranking as the safest country in the world. The second thing is that the quality of educations, because I think that when you sending the children to study abroad, it's a big investment. So you also want to make sure that your investment will have some outcome, right? So, and if you go to New Zealand to study, you get the safe environment, you have the good qualification, and the people is super friendly. I also heard so many stories, but it's also happened to me as well in New Zealand. So I always tell everyone that if I was like 20 years younger, I definitely study abroad in New Zealand. That's true. And I will, if I have my children in the future, I will definitely send them to New Zealand as well. And do you know another fun fact to prove how safe New Zealand is? I think this is very new to everyone, that actually if you have your children in the primary school, you already can send them to New Zealand to study abroad. So that is how we confident about we can keep the student is very safe as well. So we accept international students from a very young age. Also, this is another thing. I know that many students they care about ranking. When they sit down to me at the fair, they said, "So, what is the ranking of your university?" This is not the first, and the second question is, "What is the scholarship?" So actually, we are very confident about the two most common questions, because as I mentioned to you in the past, all eight university in New Zealand they belong to the top 2%. And Massey University is now ranking at 239. But beside from that, if you look a little bit next to the 239, you can see the 21st here and the 30 here. 21st is a world ranking. So actually the veterinary science at Massey University is now ranking at the 21st in the world. I think we jumped 7 steps from last year, because last year is around like 28, but now we are ranking 21st. And for the development study, we are now ranking at 30. And the good thing for you is that if the students study foundation at MUC with us, they can progress into every programs at Massey University bachelor degree. So it's a very good, let's say, journey for the student. And of course, for 82 here is employment. So it means that our student is not just like have study and that's all. They also have the very wider future in New Zealand when they graduate from Massey University. So the reason I think that I have been covered this slide already, but just want to like, let's say, summary a little bit why you can put Massey University in your list when you meet with your student, is that because we are the only university in New Zealand that have 3 campuses. So it means that you have more options to introduce to your student. We also, so if you have the student want to become a pilot, want to become an animal doctor, Massey University is the only answer for them, because beside from us, there's no other university offering these 2 programs. And especially for the pathway, I think for now, we also the only university that have foundation diploma, or we know that is the alternative first year. We also have the graduate diploma, which we can simply understand that the pre-master for students to study in New Zealand. I think Lisa gonna talk more detail about the programs later for you guys. And this is this is also the slide that I want to say is scholarship for pathway only, and this also my last slide. For now, for this year we have a very generous amount for pathway program. So as long as your student are eligible for the entry requirement, they automatically get 20% scholarship right away. And this is the apply for all international students. So I think that this is, I don't think next year is going to be the same. So if you have any student for this year, you definitely should check the chance. So thank you for listening to me, and now I give the stage to my colleague Lisa.
Thank you, Alice. So I'm going to go through the programs as well as the tuition fee. So we do offer, like all other pathway providers, that we have foundation program, like what Alice have mentioned. So if you see this foundation program, it's actually 1 year, and then we have 3 intakes. Generally, when I say 1 year, it's 1 academic year. But February, you study until February the following year before you get into university. But if you come for foundation in July or in October, you can actually do 8 months. So in July, students will progress into February intake for the bachelor's degree, and then for October into July intake for the bachelor's degree. One thing you need to check is, does the university offer July intake for the program that the students wants to go for? So if there is, they can go for October. If not, July will be the last one. For example, veterinary science, it's only February intake. So that's only February and July intake if the student would like. So in Malaysia in general, we have students completing SPM or IGCSE, and then they will only complete their exam like early of the year or if IGCSE, some of them in May, June. What we can do for students like that have not gotten the results but have completed the exam is that they can actually submit the application using their forecast results for the foundation program. We can still accept them. So they could actually come in before their results are released in August for the July intake. So if they want to go for February intake programs for a bachelor's degree, July is still possible for them. Okay, so this will be the tuition fee for a foundation program. And then with the scholarship of 20%, this will be the estimated fee. So if you can see over here, it's actually very affordable. And also our foundation program in New Zealand, if in case, because this is what a lot of parents have been thinking, a lot of parents come and say, you know, maybe I can do other programs. Foundation are very limited, only they're only able to go for a program that they want to go for, that they're registered for. But that's not really true, because during the foundation, let's say they say that they want to study computer science, for example, and then they have changed their mind during the foundation studies. They feel that maybe business is a little bit more suitable for them. They can request to change the bachelor's degree into business. That's fine. Okay. Or other programs provided they have the prerequisite subject. But let's say they think that they want to go to a program that Massey University does not offer. It's also okay. Let's say they want to go to any other universities in New Zealand, our foundation program will be accepted by them. So it's actually pretty open. If they want to go to New Zealand, anywhere, any university, it's still okay. So their options are not limited, right? So this is one. If let's say you see foundation certificate accelerated, this is only half a year. So this would be actually for students who have completed year 12 or equivalent. Okay, so it's not for year 11 student. So please note this. That's why it's actually half of the studies, half of the fees. And then you have diploma in business, which is actually year 1 of the university's bachelor's degree for business. But students, if let's say they would want more support because it's their first time going overseas, let's say they're coming from background that they're not speaking English a lot. For example, in Malaysia, we have like UEC students, or in Vietnam or other countries that English is not widely spoken. And they feel that they're not confident going to a bachelor's degree. The class is a lot of people. They want a little bit of a soft landing. Diploma in business is great because all other students will be like you. They're not from New Zealand anyway, right? Even if they speak English, everybody does because you have to go through IELTS. But to what level? How comfortable are you? So that's one thing different. This is where, you get comfortable, make friends. Everybody's the same. And then upon completion of this diploma in business, they progress into year 2 of the bachelor's degree. So there is actually no additional year that they have to study to complete the bachelor's degree. So if you notice, an entry requirement for diploma in business will be slightly lower as compared to going into bachelor's degree directly, simply because of the support that we are giving. We're confident that they can actually make it through and continue on to year 2. And then we have graduate diploma, which is pre-masters. You can understand it as pre-masters. So they do actually have subjects that they're studying, not just English. So it will be credited into their masters later on. Okay. And of course, if they cannot make it for the IELTS requirement, even for our foundation, then they have like English programs. Then we have EAP2, EAP1, EAP2, general English. This one depends on what is the level. So we will advise accordingly when the application is submitted to us. So don't worry about all of this. Okay. So so graduate diploma, we have like certain majors. It's not for all. So for example, they want to come for battery science. Unfortunately, they can't do a graduate diploma. It's only for like certain programs. So make sure you check first. Yeah. Okay, so this is the structure. I think I've just gone through all of them. So generally, this is for foundation or accelerated. You go the first year of the UG program, bachelor's degree. Diploma in business, you get into the second year of business. And then graduate diploma, you get into Master of Management, and then you have English, whatever that the students, whatever level that the students wants to. This is mainly just for English. Okay, so some entry requirement you can see here. It's a lot because like we have different countries, and then in Malaysia especially we do like so different qualification, but don't worry, these slides I will send it to Timothy, and then he will probably share it with all of you. So this is just for your reference. And also English requirements in general, if like if you see here, there's SPM and O levels. Generally, Malaysian will do SPM and O levels. So if let's say they have C grade, then in English, then we can actually take them and waive the English. So if not, they can actually opt to do an IELTS. But if IELTS, TOEFL, PTE, okay. So, but if let's say they don't have SPM, they don't have IGCSE, they don't have IELTS, don't really want to pay for IELTS, they can actually request for a KITE test. So KITE test is actually our Kaplan internal English test. It's going to be online. Make sure there is a good connection, and then make sure there is a webcam, and the student will need to sit there. Make sure the student think of it as an exam, because I did have one student failed last time. Not because the English is not good. The English results was the IELTS was 8.0. That's really good. But she left and then she went somewhere. She was very busy, talking to some other people. So we consider that cheating. So make sure the student really treat it like an exam. Do it 100%, just sit there, finish it, and then, the test will be, we will have the results. Once it's out, we can take that in place of IELTS if, let's say, they pass. So unfortunately, let's say if they don't make it for KITE, then they have to go for, external English test like IELTS, PTE, or TOEFL. Okay, so this is one. And KITE, we don't charge for it. It's free of charge, but they usually have only one chance to sit for it. Technically, they can repeat over like after 3 months, but usually they won't have that kind of time. Okay, so if they don't do well because of certain reason, not because of like the English is insufficient, generally we advise them to go for a test because like intake will be nearer. So popular programs at Massey, any programs in that Massey University offers, regardless of which campus, our pathway for foundation, it will lead to all the programs except for design, those programs that will need a portfolio. So that is in Wellington, and that's another different foundation. Okay, so our college is in Auckland campus. So if let's say they are interested in veterinary science or they're interested in animal science, then they will study the foundation program at Auckland, and then they will move over to Palmerston North. So that's about like 45 minutes flight from Auckland. It's pretty easy. Okay. So, but don't worry about like, moving, because when they're there in the college, if they really need help, we still have student services. They can ask for help from the student services. How do they go about it? As long as they ask, people in New Zealand are generally very friendly, so they're happy to help. Okay. So if you can see, like, some are highlighted in red. It's not because that is difficult to get in, but we just want to highlight that, a lot of students from this region, they get into this program. So it's really popular. So Massey is the largest and the oldest business school in New Zealand. And also 40% of businesses in New Zealand are based in Auckland. So there's nowhere better than Auckland campus for us to carry out this program. So if they're going for business, and they will actually be going for college foundation at the same campus and just progress into the university at the same campus. They don't need to move campus if they're going for business, for example, right? So we have information sciences that most places will call IT. So if students come and ask for IT programs, and then you try to check the list, so then there's no IT. Where can I find it? So Massey doesn't offer. No, that's not the case. So in Massey, we call it Information Sciences, Bachelor of Information Sciences. And under that, you will be able to see computer science, data science, IT, so all this software engineering. So all these are actually IT. So it's just a little bit different in terms of the naming compared to a lot more countries. And food technology is also one thing that's really, really great at Massey. So if you know, a lot of people will say New Zealand, I probably see a lot of sheep, compared to people. To some extent, it's really true. But remember this, sheep are not going to go and walk around in the city. So if you're going to study and then you're going to live in the city, of course, you're not going to see so much of the sheep, right? But having said that, New Zealand as a country, it's a whole, we can understand it like an agricultural industry itself. The country is an agricultural industry. So the thing is, in Massey, we are #1 in agricultural sciences in New Zealand. So I think there's nowhere better if they want to study this. And that's why you can actually see food technology with honors. There's a 4 years, so it's actually an engineering degree for food. So we have food process engineering that students will study 4 years. Okay, so I get some questions. Bachelor of Agricultural Science, how does it differ from food process engineering or food product technology? So agricultural sciences generally is more in the production of food. For example, in New Zealand, there's only 5 million people. The total population is only 5 million, but they're producing food for 95 million people. Okay, that's a lot of food to produce. So what kind of technology are they using? Obviously, there's not enough people to really plant on their own, like dig a hole, put a seed, and then you water it every day. There's not going to be enough people to do that. So there's a lot of technology involved. So that's also the sciences, agricultural science. And when they have the food, they finish the agricultural part, they have all the raw materials like there. They would have to process them into like edible food. Okay. So the thing is, 95 million worth of the food worth for 95 million people, they're not going to feed only New Zealanders because there's only 5 million people. What they do, a lot of them will be exported. So they need to process it to be good for export. It will take time. So how does it stay fresh? And then of course, if I'm going to come up with a kiwi and I'm going to only export kiwi, and everybody's only going to eat like kiwi as a fruit itself, it's going to be boring, right? So they also have food product technology, what kind of product it can come out with. Kiwi ice cream, for example, astronaut ice cream, where they don't even have to freeze it. They really can take it out, to space if they really want to. And it stays there, there's no liquid. So these kind of things, that's food product technology. So this is actually industry that I see is upcoming in terms of interest. So that's why it's actually really popular. And also, of course, we have construction. These are also popular courses, right? And besides that, we do have other bachelor science program, and then veterinary science, they're always very popular. And I want to highlight this. Veterinary science in New Zealand, in Massey University, is very high rank, 21 in the world. However, there are also 50 places available for international students. So 50 is a lot compared to a lot of countries. There's only maybe 30. So what I've seen, like personally, after like few years here, students are afraid to apply because they think that it's so high rank, they might not make it. But don't get this wrong, when they actually get in, the support that's given, because New Zealand at itself, as the people, they're actually really friendly and helpful. So that's one. They really want to help the students to move on, to really finish up the program. Also, because sometimes students are afraid to even apply, they think they cannot make it, they did not even apply. So the progression rate is pretty high because the competition might not be really high as compared to, lower rank universities. So I want to really encourage you, if you have students thinking for veterinary science, encourage them to apply. High rank, if they can get in, even better, right? And then actually competition, I think it's slightly So far, I cannot promise, but so far in the past years, students that do well, they progress. Unless they're not doing so well, they're not so suitable, or students that halfway through they think actually it's not what they want, and then they decide to go for another program. So that's also the type of students that did not progress. Otherwise, if they're good enough, generally they progress. It's not because that there's not no space for them. Okay. And living costs, we would suggest a year students have around like 20,000 to live. Fees for the university will cost around like 35,000 a year. So it's really affordable. And then accommodation, all the three campus will have on-campus accommodation students can stay in, including Auckland, where our college is. So it's also for our college students. However, if they are not 18 years old yet, under 18 will have to stay at home stay, so that there's always somebody there with them to make sure they are safe. Okay. And then they can actually work 20 hours work minimum a week, maximum a week, and no limit in holidays. Minimum wage is around 22.70, but yeah, they have to kind of pay like a 10% tax. So let's count like $20 an hour. That's the minimum that they get. So if let's say they're gonna work 20 hours, that's $400 a week. And that's actually equivalent to what roughly they will need per week. I mean, they need a little bit more. Sometimes they actually need less. But remember this, during the holidays they can work. So actually living expenses, they can almost cover with their working wage. But of course, I'm not encouraging them to come without any, like money to live for at least like some time. And then also the fees, they have to prepare that. Okay. For students like coming for postgraduate study visa, postgraduate work visa, they generally get up to 3 years. They get 3 years of like post-study work rights, usually. If they study a full-time undergraduate, 3 years at least, undergraduate degrees, or they come for postgraduate. So this is good for them to get some experience working in another country, do some collaboration, and then later on, if they want to come back, at least they can bring back some ideas, some experience. So that would actually make them more valuable when they come back to the home country. All right. And this is how the accommodation in Auckland look like. It's actually pretty comfortable and nice. So it's just on campus. And our campus, they can walk to class. They don't have to like wake up super early, get through some bad traffic, wait for, bus or anything. Just on campus, they can be there. But if they're under 18 again, remember they're staying at a homestay. So traveling is not really difficult in Auckland. They go by bus, but they will usually be quite on time. Just make sure the students don't be late. The bus will not wait. So that's one thing that the student need to actually remember. Okay. So in general, like Alice mentioned, there is actually a big mall kind of opposite the campus. So when I say mall, it's not like, maybe like 20 stories or something. There is no such kind of building in New Zealand because it's sustainable country. So instead of really, really high-rise building, it's going to be spread out. So it's big in terms of the size and area. So it's a few stories. So sometimes students say, I don't see any mall there. The thing is because they thought they didn't see any high-rise building. It's not going to be high-rise. It's just a little bit it's big. You have to get in and see how big it is. All right. So that's the kind of accommodation that we have. Okay. So I think that's the end of the presentation from us from Massey University College. I pass it back to Timothy, and then we can go for Q&A.
Hey, yeah, so thanks for the presentation. I think this is quite an insightful information. See, anyone have any questions and answers?
While waiting for the question coming from the agent network, I just want to say a little bit because I know that a lot of you guys might be hesitate to send students to New Zealand because of the visa issues. But as we talked with Timothy a little bit earlier, when we are waiting for the agents to come in, please be the best friend with the website of INZ Immigration New Zealand. As Timothy already agreed with me that there's no other website for immigration that can be more detailed and more clearer than the INZ website. If you want, I can send the link, or you can always go to Just Education, the expert, for the link to see because they have all the checklists for the agents.
I think I can send the link from here one moment. Actually, speaking of the questions, because like for Massey University College, I understand that it's the pathway foundation. So is it more intrigued to the pathway student visa?
Yeah, so every of our program, except for general English, you can get the package offer. So it means that including the pathway programs and the main program that the student will study at university, Massey University, and then you can submit for pathway visa. And another thing earlier, I think Lisa already mentioned about that. The living expense actually depending a lot on each individuals. However, to submit for visa, you will be required to have 20,000 proof that you have 20,000 in your bank account. But in reality, I think that most students will not spend that much. But if you are like kind of like really into shopping, maybe you spend more. I don't know. But I think for the standard one, it will not reach 20,000. But you need to have that. You need to prove that you have that to be eligible for the visa.
I agree. I agree. Actually, in fact, I'm looking at the website right now. If you take a look at the pathway student visa, if you take a look, scroll down below saying that what you need to apply, there will be a section there called funds. So look at the page. So that it says that evidence can be proof that you have 20,000 per year of tertiary. I think this is definitely something that everyone here can refer to, that yep, the amount is literally written over there also, and it's also quite clear of all the, not just the funds, but also on the information that will be required for the New Zealand pathway visa. This could be very, very helpful and handy. Yeah. Just to confirm and clarify about the scholarship, right? Actually, is there will it still be automatically assessed?
Yes. So they only need to submit the application, and then once technically they just need to meet the entry requirement, and then all good, and then they'll get the scholarship for all pathway programs like foundation, diploma in business, like all our programs. But it's not applicable to university program, so only pathway programs. So like sometimes I get questions like in the university when they progress, would they actually get that scholarship? I wouldn't be able to answer this. So it depends when that year they progress, what kind of like scholarship scheme does the university have? So of course, if they have, they can apply, but if not, then they won't have scholarship, unfortunately. But looking at the fees that's offered for the bachelor's degree for Massey, it's actually very, very affordable compared to a lot of countries, especially our neighboring countries. So yeah, it's already better in that sense. And then also living cost is affordable. So if you actually calculate everything excluding the scholarship from the university, all the fees and the fundings that's needed, it's the total amount. It's not actually it doesn't look very scary. Yeah, I would say that.
Okay, thanks. Thank you so much, Lisa. Thank you so much, Alice. Okay, any more questions, guys, before we wrap it up?
I think if let's say it's a little bit difficult to, just go through a training and then have questions, sometimes there are students and then suddenly, you think
I think we got inquiry.
yeah.
Uh,
Yes.
I think, yeah, explanation is perfect. Just to be sure, do students who have completed matriculation exam, I think it's Myanmar if I'm not mistaken. Do correct me if I'm wrong. Then there's IGCSE, O levels, and year 12 studies need to join foundation before joining the bachelor direct. before joining directly to the bachelor's program?
Alice, you're mute.
Alice, you're on mute, sorry. Yeah.
So I think, yeah, Timothy, you're correct. I think definitely this question is for Myanmar with the matriculation exams. To answer your question, if the student have only matriculation exam, the local Burmese exam, they need to do foundations. However, if the student have IGCSE O level, I think if you have IGCSE O level, you definitely need to do foundation as well. But if you have A level, you can go direct to Mass University.
Okay, okay. So I think
And
I see that's it.
we have the prospectus, Timothy. You can share with your sub agents where we already state all the entry requirement for every countries that and for each program as well, because you know that we have more than one foundation programs. So depending on your student score of O level, you can actually choose to study 1 year program or 6 month program. So it's actually depend.
That's right, that's right. Because I did also have a look at the entry requirement as well, that is very clear in terms of the entry requirement. I think that's also very similar for Laos students. Laos students, if they completed the senior year 12, if I'm not mistaken, the high school year 12, they'll have to also start with the foundation program, because initially I thought they could try for diploma, but I was wrong. So actually they definitely have to go for the foundation.
Yes, they need to go to foundation. And a good news, if any of you coming from Myanmar and Laos, a good news that last year that has been a quite a successful year for us to recruit Myanmar and Laos students. So you don't need to worry that you will be the only one. The student will not be the only one who study at Mass University, because we have Myanmar and Laos students starting with us now.
That's very good. That's very good, and also very reassuring.
I don't know if we have any Burmese restaurant or Lao restaurant in Auckland. Yeah, so maybe you guys gonna go there and starting the committee.
Yeah, definitely. This is gonna be so interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so I have actually put in the link to our website. So if let's say you want to check entry requirement, you can always check it there and it's always updated.
Okay, great, fantastic. I think that is all. Yeah, wait for oh, that's all. I think that is all for today. Thank you so much, Lisa. Thank you so much, Alice, for this very insightful session. I think this is a quite a very informative session. I think everyone, at least that they know quite clear about Massey Uni College, and they also said actually most of it, the information is actually very straightforward.
That's good to hear. Usually there's no questions. Either it's very clear or people just don't know what I'm talking about.
Okay, it's okay. Is there anything I will definitely ask the question again, but do not worry, as this session is recorded, so we definitely be putting the info on our YouTube channel. So I think it's definitely something that you guys can refer to again, in case. And oh yeah, and Lisa, will we also be have access to the slides? Is there any chance we have the slides as well?
I'm gonna send it to you and then you can share it with others. So yeah,
Okay, great.
definitely.
That's fantastic. All right. All right. That's all for today's session. Thanks everyone for joining. Have a great week ahead. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
everyone. Happy
Thank
Lunar New
you.
Year, everyone.
Oh,
Yeah, happy
happy
Chinese
New
New
Year.
Year.
Yes, happy New
Bye
Happy New
bye.
Year.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye. See you.
Bye.